is Genesee Acolicol, a BSc student, major in English from Philippine College. So, in this video, we're gonna talk about VYGOTSKY theory of social development. It is also called as sociocultural theory. So now, just like Piaget's, the work of VYGOTSKY has become the foundation of much research and theories in cognitive development of the past several decades, which one of the reasons why we're looking at it. So, LEV VYGOTSKY, he believed that social interaction is a major factor that leads to a cognitive development in children. Every function in the child's cultural development appears twice. First, on the social level, and later on, the individual level. First, between and people, then inside the child. So this basically means there is a link between communication and internal thought process. This will be explained further. First, we're looking the important concept, elementary mental functions, which is EMFs. He believed that infants are born with mental abilities or EMFs like attention, sensation, perception, and memory, which related develop into a mental functions. And now, if we look VYGOTSKY theory in irrational, it basically is the translation, it is the conversion of EMFs into a higher mental functions through social interactions. Higher mental functions, it concludes independent thinking and independent learning. Now, let's look at some important principles of VYGOTSKY's works. Where are the foundation upon which VYGOTSKY lead theory? The first principle is the more knowledgeable other, which is MKO. And the second is zone of proximal development, which is ZPD. And the third is language. So what is the first fundamental principle? So the first fundamental principle is more knowledgeable other, which is MKO. So more knowledgeable other is someone with a higher ability level than the learner. So an MKO can impart knowledge and lead to cognitive development in the child or instant. It's important to remember that it doesn't have to be an older adult. It can also another child, a slightly older child now, brings knowledge imparted is related to video games. An older child can be a better MKO than adult. Now, MKO can provide behavioral or verbal instructions, collaborative dialogue. This leads to cognitive development. So you get the concept about the more knowledgeable other, MKO, imparting information to a child, and this leading to a cognitive development. So, in a similar way, there is a concept called zone of proximal development, which is ZPD. Before we look at, there is an example which is commonly used. The example is jigsaw puzzle. Now, the example, it tells the child attempting to solve the jigsaw puzzle under the supervision of an adult. The child struggles at first to understand where to start, how to proceed, and the adult provides instruction and starts assembling the puzzles to the corner pieces and make your way to the center. And once the instructions are provided, the child finds it easy to solve jigsaw puzzle under the adult's supervision and gradually without the adult being present. So it's a process of learning how to solve a jigsaw puzzle, which now leads to what we call a zone of proximal development, which is ZPD. So now there is a zone of can do of a child and the zone of can't do of a child, because obviously a child gradually learn how to do a lot of things. Now between the zone of can do and can't do, the zone of proximal development, which is zone bridge, because of the input provided by the MKO. Or it can be input provided through technological truth as well. Now, because in the input of MKO, for instance, in this example, a child start up to the corner pieces and make his way to the center as enhance the can-do zone of a child. And so, with the use of MKO knowledge, a child can reach that area or zone of proximal development. That is basically what's the concept made. Now, the third important principles of VYGOTSKY's theory is the use of language. So, VYGOTSKY viewed language to be one of the man's greatest tools of development, and not just communication. Language until the age of 2 is just the means of external communication. Language becomes private speech from the age of 3. Later becomes silent inner speech and internal thought process. So basically, viewed language as tool or as one of the greatest tool of development of cognitive development of a child. So the three important tools of principles are the MKO, which is more knowledgeable other, ZPD, zone proximal development, and the last is language. And that's all my topic for today. So I am Janice Acolicol. I hope you learned something in this video. Thank you and have a nice day.